All praises to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace to everyone joining me on this program. This is the Fountain of Israel's Bible Studies program, and as always, it's an honor for me to stand before you on the Lord's Sabbath day. Now with that, let me go ahead and remind you to like, share, subscribe. Please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Check the description box down below. Donation links are also available. And with that, we're going to go ahead and start our lesson. Now, this particular lesson is going to be a part of a series. Right now, I may not do it each and every Sabbath, but this new series is a book summary series, right? So that's where I'm going to take one of the books, one of the shorter books in the Bible, whether it be Old Testament, New Testament. I'll take one of the shorter books in the Bible. I'll summarize it so we can kind of get more of a holistic view of that particular Bible. Get a little history, a little background in it, so we have a deeper understanding. And I'll just do that from time to time because people, we learn a little bit differently. I have no issue, no problem. I actually prefer to teach the Bible here a little, there a little, line upon line, precept upon precept. But also at the same time, some people like to read straight through. So I'm just going to do some of the book summaries. And that way I'm not just simply reading it just to be reading it, but I will also kind of break down certain things, look at a little bit of the history, and go out of the book every now and again, a little bit. Okay, just a little bit, not all the time, but a little bit. But we want to stick primarily to the book at hand. So with this particular lesson in the book series, I'll be looking at Haggai, right? I want to look at that book. And again, like I said, future lessons, I will be doing other books. Some of the shorter books will be coming down the pike. But of course, when we have holy days or if the Spirit moved me to teach something else, then that's what we'll do. But from time to time, we will be doing book summaries. That way, you guys can look into the Fountain of Israel library lessons and you just pick what you want by topic, by book, whatever that you want to get a lesson on, you will be able to do that, right? So a little something for everybody. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and start in the book of Haggai. And obviously, we're going to be in there and we're just going to start at verse 1. Okay, it's only 2 chapters, so we're just going to start at verse 1. And we're going to look at it. Now, before I get into that, let me give you guys a little bit of history, a little bit of background, and then we will get into the book. Now, the book of Haggai was written or penned at around 520 BC, right? So, the book of Haggai in the Bible is about a group of Israelites who returned to Jerusalem after being conquered by Babylon and are challenged to rebuild the temple. Okay, this is after Daniel, guys. The book is written 70 years after the prophesied exile in 520 and describes events after Cyrus allows the captive Israelites to return to Judea in about 538 BC. Haggai urges the exiles to remain faithful and rebuild the temple and assures them that their efforts will be blessed. The book is mostly poetry, I should say, with some prose discourse, and is divided into about 4 parts, okay? The book of Haggai records the Lord's commandments to the Jews to renew their efforts in rebuilding the temple. So after this exile, they're like, okay, it's time to rebuild the temple. The Most High ordered this to be done, obviously saying it through the prophet of Haggai. The Jews obeyed the word of the Lord through Haggai and succeeded in completing the temple. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about some foreshadowing, okay? Some of the things that is trying to tell us ahead of time, right? So it says, as with most book of the minor prophets, Haggai ends with promises of restoration and blessing. And in the last verse, Haggai, in 2:23, which of course we will read, God uses a distinctly messianic title in reference to Zerubbabel, right? My servant, okay, it means my servant. Now we're going to compare that, this whole my servant thing, we'll compare that to 2 Samuel 3:18, 1 Kings 11:34, Isaiah 42, we'll read 1 through 9, and then you have Ezekiel 37, 24 and 25. So we'll look at some of those things, if you will. Let me continue. Through Haggai, God promises to make him like a signet ring, talking about Zerubbabel, right? Which was a symbol of honor, authority, and power, somewhat like a king's scepters used to seal letters and decrees. Okay, so it's kind of like a foreshadowing of, like Messiah. Zerubbabel, as God's signet ring, represents the house of David and the resumption of the Messianic line, interrupted by the exile. Zerubbabel reestablished the Davidic line of kings, which would culminate in the millennial reign of Christ. Okay, so Zerubbabel appears in the line of Christ on both Joseph's side and on Mary's side. So it's Judah, Judah, Judah through and through. Okay, so we're going to look at some of these things. But right now, like I said, we're in Haggai. And we're going to read pretty much all of Haggai. And then we'll jump around when we start getting into Zerubbabel to kind of make the comparison of what's going on. Okay. So I want to enrich you guys' knowledge of the Bible. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Haggai. Starting in chapter 1, verse 1. It says, in the second year of Darius the king, in the 6th month, in the first day of the month, came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet unto Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, saying, thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, this people say, the time is not come, the time that the Lord's house should be built. Then came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet, saying, is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste? Right? So you want to lie in your house, and my house is in ruins. Your house is okay. Is it time for you to just sit there, basically? Just sit there in your established house, and my house is not established, right? Or reestablished, we should say, because we're talking about a rebuilding. Okay? Now, therefore, thus says the Lord of hosts, consider your ways, okay? Consider your ways. You have sown much and bring in little. You eat, but you have not enough. Ye drink, but you are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earns wages to put it into a bag with holes. Okay, thus said the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Let's just pause there just for a second. Let's pause to note. Have we been in situations to where it seems like no matter what you do, there's no satisfaction, there's no reprieve, there's no rest, it's never good enough? Because that's what he's saying. He's saying you're not prospering, things are not really going well, you're just kind of going through the motions, right? Have any of you guys ever felt like that? That's what he's saying with Israel, okay? Because he said, you're not doing your job. You should be reestablishing my house. You should be reestablishing that temple, because right now, I already know, I know what you guys are doing right now. It's just kind of going through the motions. Nothing's really happening. You're eating, but you're never satisfied. You have clothes on, but you're not warm. You see what I'm saying? It's just not quite working out the way you expect, the way you want, right? Now, verse 8, go up to the mountain and bring wood and build the house. And I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, said the Lord. You looked for much, and lo, it came to little. And when you brought it home, I did blow upon it. Why, says the Lord of hosts? Because of my house that is waste, and ye ran every man unto his own house. Therefore, the heaven over you is stayed from dew, and the earth is stayed from her fruit. Meaning it's not prospering. Things are not working out for you. Okay, because you didn't consider your ways, right? This is why you're in exile now. Okay, this right now they're trying to come out of Babylon, so they have right to rebuild the temple. But the Most High is telling them why things went bad for you, or why are they currently bad for them, right? And I call for a drought upon the land, and upon the mountains, and upon the corn, and upon the new wine, and upon the oil, and upon that which the ground bringeth forth, and upon men, and upon cattle, and upon all the labor of the hands. Then Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, with all the remnant of the people, obeyed the voice of the Lord their God and the words of Haggai and the prophet, as the Lord their God had sent him, and the people did fear before the Lord. Then spake Haggai, the Lord's messenger, in the Lord's message unto the people, saying, I am with you, said the Lord. See, now there's some encouragement right there. See, they're coming out of exile, coming out of Babylon, if you will. You guys should be able to see. I'll be throwing up some timelines in there so you guys can kind of have a time frame of when these things were happening throughout the lesson. But now so first, let's just pause to know. First, he said, okay, look. This is your situation, right? So he kind of lays out the situation, what's going on, and you're not being satisfied. This is why things are not working. You need to consider your ways. Consider the reason you are in the situation you're in is because of you. Okay, it's because of what you are doing, because you went astray from me. You broke our covenant. So all these things that I said I was going to do to you, I had to do it to you. Okay, so all these, so everything that's going on, you know exactly what it is. See, there's terrible vexation when we are going through something and we don't know why. But also, I'm letting them know exactly why. Consider your ways. Consider your ways. So he says, and then of course he begins to encourage them and said, look, just do what I'm telling you, rebuild a house, get it together, and I'll bless you. I'll be happy. I'll take pleasure in it. It's going to be okay. Right? So 14, and the Lord stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and the spirit of Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, and the spirit of all the remnant of the people. And they came and did work in the house of the Lord of hosts, their God. In the 4th and 20th day of the 6th month, in the 2nd year of Darius the king. So he's giving you an idea of when all this took place. Okay? So let's look at a couple things when it's talking about Zerubbabel. I'm going to look at some of these comparisons. I told you guys 2 Samuel 3. Here we go. 2 Samuel 3 and 18, just as a comparison. 2 Samuel 3 and 18. Okay, we have 2, now we have 3. 3:18. It says, now then do it. Now then do it, for the Lord has spoken of David, saying, by the hand of my servant, okay, remember Zerubbabel was talking about servant, hand of my servant David, I will save my people out of the hand of the Philistines and out of the hand of their enemies. Okay, my servant. So this is what he's saying. Zerubbabel is a servant of his. So we're going to go on over to 1 Kings. 1 Kings 11. Okay, means servant. 1 Kings 11:34. 1 Kings 11:34. So let's take a look. In 34 says this. Howbeit, I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him prince all the days of his life for David, my servant's sake, whom I chose, because he kept my commandments and my statutes. Okay, so if you are being called the Lord's servant, this is a good thing. Let's go to Isaiah. Okay, we're going to go to Isaiah real quick, and then we'll get back to Haggai. Don't worry. So Isaiah, we're going to go to Isaiah 42. Okay, being a servant of the Most High is a good thing. Even sometimes if you're not, quote unquote, Israel, because I know in some places he'll say, like the Babylonian king, he'll say that person, as a servant, he is basically fulfilling something, performing a task. Okay, even though he may not be a righteous person, but Most High controls everything, right? So he'll take someone who is not necessarily, an Israelite, and he'll use them at least for a period of time if he needs to have a particular part of his plan come to pass, right? So we're going to go Isaiah 42 real quick, and let's look at this whole servant idea. We'll read verse 1 through 9, which says, behold, my servant whom I uphold, mine elect, in whom my soul delight. I have put my spirit upon him, and he shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. He shall not cry, nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the streets. A bruised reed shall he not break, and a smoking flax shall he not quench. He shall bring forth judgment unto truth. He shall not fail nor be discouraged, till he have set judgment in the earth. And the isles shall wait for his law. Thus said the Lord, thus said God the Lord, he that created the heavens and stretched them out, He that spread forth the earth, and that which cometh out of it, he that giveth breath unto the people upon it, and spirit to them that walk therein. I, the Lord, have called thee in righteousness, and will hold thine hand, and will keep thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles, to open the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house. I am the Lord. This is my name, and my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. So he can tell you the beginning from the end. He can tell you the beginning from the end. He's just declaring who he is. But again, my servant. Okay? So Zerubbabel being used as a servant. We got one more place we're going to go to, which is Ezekiel. Okay? We're going to go to Ezekiel. Just dealing with servant. I want to deal with the servant portion of Haggai. So, Ezekiel 37, I want to read 24 and 25. 24 and 25. And David, my what? My servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. And they shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein, even they and their children and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. Okay, now we know we're talking about the Davidic line. Okay, we're talking about his bloodline and who sprang out of Judah. Okay, we know it's Messiah, but that's okay. That's another lesson. Just want to give you an idea. Servant. Now we go back to Haggai. Now, chapter 2. In the 7th month, in the 21st day of the month, came the word of the Lord by the prophet Haggai, saying, Speak now to Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, and to the residue of the people, saying, Who is left among you that saw this house in her first glory? And how do ye see it now? Is it not in your eyes in comparison of it as nothing? Okay, is it not in your eyes in comparison as nothing? Yet now, be strong, O Zerubbabel, says the Lord, and be strong, O Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, and be strong, all ye people of the land, said the Lord, and work. For I am with you, said the Lord of hosts. For I am with you, said the Lord of hosts, right? Again, giving encouragement, okay? Giving encouragement to his people. So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to continue. Let's see, we're here. We are in verse 5. According to the word that I have cut, right? According to the word that I covenanted with you. Sorry, I don't know what's going on in my eyes right here, so you'll have to forgive me for that. That I have covenanted with you when ye came out of Egypt. So my spirit remain among you. Fear ye not. For thus said the Lord of hosts, yet once in a little while, and I will shake the heavens and the earth and the sea and the dry land. And I will shake all nations, and the desire of all nations shall come. And I will fill this house with glory, says the Lord of hosts. The silver is mine, and the gold is mine, said the Lord of hosts. The glory of this latter house shall be greater than the former, says the Lord of hosts. And in this place will I give peace, says the Lord of hosts. And in the 4th and 20th day of the 9th month, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of the Lord by Haggai, the prophet, saying, Thus said the Lord of hosts, ask now the priest concerning the law, saying, If one bear holy flesh in the skirt of his garment, and with his skirt do touch bread or pottage or wine or oil or any meat, shall it be holy? And the priest answered and said, no. Then said Haggai, if one that is unclean by a dead body touch any of these, shall it be unclean? And the priest answered and said, it shall be unclean. Then Haggai answered and said, so is this people, and so is this nation before me, said the Lord, and so is every work of their hands, and that which they offer there is unclean. And now, I pray you, consider from this day and upward, from before a stone was laid upon a stone in the temple of the Lord, since those days were when one came to an heap of 20 measures. There were but 10. When one came to the press fat for the draw out 50 vessels out of the press, there were but 20. I smote you with blasting and with mildew and with hail and all the labors of your hand. Yet ye turn not to me, said the Lord. Consider now from this day and upward, from the 24th day of the 9th month, even from the day that the foundation of the Lord's temple was laid, consider it. Is the seed yet in the barn? Yea, is yet the vine and the fig tree and the pomegranate and the olive tree has not brought forth. From this day I will bless you. And again, the word of the Lord came unto Haggai in the 24th day of the month, saying, speak to Zerubbabel, governor of Judah, saying, I will shake the heavens and earth, and I will overthrow the throne of kingdoms, and I will destroy the strengths of the kingdoms of the heathen. And I will overthrow the chariots and those that ride in them, and the horses and the riders shall come down, every one by the sword of his brother. And in that day, said the Lord of hosts, will I take thee, O Zerubbabel, my servant, the son of Shealtiel, saith the Lord, and I will make thee a signet, for I have chosen thee, said the Lord of hosts. Now this come to pass if he is obedient. This type of thing you become a signet, place of honor and power, stuff like that. Now, of course, this is foreshadowing. It's talking about a future promise and all that. But it's important. It's important that we understand. I wanted to get this particular part out to you guys of, Haggai. But what we're going to do is read another book, because it's going to be because these are very, very short books, so it doesn't really take that long. Look, it took us less than half an hour just to read the whole thing and get a summary and an understanding. But what we're going to do is, what was this other one? Add in, let's see here. We're going to add in Obadiah real quick, and we're going to read Obadiah. Let me get to that real quick. So these two will be both Haggai and Obadiah. You guys know that's just one chapter as well. So let's go ahead and read a little bit of a summary here, because it talks about, Edom, and we'll look at that too. We'll look at that. But anyway, the book of Obadiah in the Hebrew Bible contains prophecy by Obadiah in which he relates that his God, Yahweh, the Most High, Yahweh, is angry with the kingdom of Edom for betraying the kingdom of Judah when it was invaded by Babylon. The prophecy promises that in due time Edom would be destroyed and no trace of it would remain. So let's look at it real quick. None of it will remain. What was Obadiah? The prophecy, Obadiah's prophecy is that in due course Edom would be destroyed and no trace of the civilization would remain. Obadiah warned that what was done to Judah by Babylon would in time happen to Edom, and the dwellers of the Negev would inhabit it. They said that's what's going to happen. Who's in the book of Obadiah? Who is the book of Obadiah written to? Let's look at that. The book of Obadiah is addressed to the kingdom of Edom, which is addressed as Esau, the man credited for founding Edom. Esau was the brother of Jacob, who had reddish skin. Edom means red, And it was located in a place where the land is red clay, Petra. Jordan is part of the ancient kingdom of Edom. Okay, so what does the name Obadiah mean? Okay, the name Obadiah means servant of Yahweh in Hebrew. Okay, the root means to serve, and name that has there's Hebrew letters there, and it refers to the name of God of Yahweh, right? Okay, so it's closely related to that. And we all know a lot of the prophets, their names are very closely linked to the Most High, and a lot of them have its meaning drawn from it. Okay, so let's see here. I am going to go ahead and look up, let's see here, timeline for you guys. Timeline, because I like to give that as well. Let's see here. Timeline, let's see here. So here it is. Okay, so the book of Obadiah records a prophetic vision given by the Lord to a man named Obadiah, of course, and the only thing known about the prophet is his name. The book was probably written in the first half of the Babylonian exile, so I'm keeping you guys around the same time period, right? After 586, of course, we know BC, the timeline, the count starts going down, right? We know that. It goes down before it reverses and start going up, 80, right? So when Babylon destroyed Jerusalem and before 553, so between 586 and before 553, okay, when Babylon attacked Edom, okay? So now we have more of a little timeline. We're going to read some of that. Okay, so Obadiah. So this particular lesson will be Haggai and Obadiah. Okay, it's a short lesson. It's not, it's not a whole lot because these books are really, really short. So it's really easy to get some of these, what they call minor prophets, get some of these knocked out of the way. And a lot of times we don't get a chance to really get into these Bibles when I'm doing other lessons. Sometimes I go to some of the smaller prophets or whatever, but I want to give them their just due, because I don't think they're minor in that sense. Okay, what people would think minor, like they're not as important. They're very important. They're, even if it's just one chapter, they are espousing the words of the Most High. They're giving us either history or their current state or a future prophecy. Okay, so it's completely important. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and read some Obadiah here real quick. And like I said, it's simple to go through. It's very, very short. So the vision of Obadiah. Thus said the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thy heart has deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though you exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou hast set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, said the Lord. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? How they not have stolen till they had enough? Would they not have stolen until they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There's none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, say the Lord, even destroy the wise man out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? Of course, you guys know Esau. Esau is the founder of Edom. It's also known as Idumea, right? So just want to make sure you guys we're all on the same page. 9. And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. Let's pause the note. He's saying, look here, Edom. Okay. The problem is this. When the heathen came after Jacob, went to Jerusalem, just sacked Jerusalem, tore it up and all that, took over. You stood by, you watched, you act like you was one of them. You see, brothers and sisters, Herod was an Edomite. Okay? Remember in the first century, Yeshua was born, and what did Herod want to do to all the firstborn, all the boys? Okay? He wanted to kill them. Right? So that's just one example. Okay, one example. And so he was saying, okay, well, yeah, you stood by while your brother is being slaughtered, while their land's being taken over. This is your brother. These are your brother. Okay, talking about Esau and Jacob. Now, if you're talking about the descendants, these are your cousins. And you know this, and you stood by, you did nothing, you were cool with it. You were cool with the slaughter. And now you sitting up high, everything's cool. You perch your nest up like an eagle, and everything's fine. Everything's hunky-dory for you. And you're so proud that you think you can never be brought low. You can never be brought down, like nothing's ever going to happen. It's all great. Right? Now, let's look at this one more time. I'm back at verse 3, and it says, the pride of thy heart has deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rocks. Okay, so these caves, whose habitation is high, okay, in mountains, that said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? So we up, right? They're like, hey, we up. Okay, who's going to bring me down? So he's saying, even though you have exalted yourself, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, because you way up now, you're on top. And though thou set thy nest, you built your home among the stars, you built your home high up, right? Thence will I bring thee down. From there, it don't matter. Don't matter how high you put yourself. I'm gonna bring you down. This is the Most High say, I'm gonna bring you down. Okay, I'm gonna bring you down. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Oh, how art thou cut? You're in trouble, right? You're in trouble. Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy, all the people who you're cool with, who you partners with, okay, who you have this treaty with, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border, right? Your territory expanded even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, see, but they tricked you, okay, and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. See, these people are going to get you know the saying is like, okay, you mess with the wrong people, okay, they'll get you messed up, right? That's what he's saying. You are in league with these other people, and they are going to get you cut off. I'll be the one cutting you off, right? This is what the Most High is saying. Okay? There is none understanding in him. Yeah, you just don't get it. Shall I not in that day, said the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau? Yeah, all the ones who think they know something, I'm going to take care of them too. And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. Okay, they're going to be in big trouble. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. It was like you were one of them while they were being taken over, while they were being slaughtered, while they were being captive, while they were being ransacked. 12. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Excuse me. Excuse me. 13. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. You took advantage. You took the spoils of war. You came in and took complete advantage. After the other guys came and just tore everything up, you came and took complete advantage of the situation. And the Most High said, you shouldn't have done that. You should not have done that. That was not your place to do. Now, as we finish this, it's not going to be a happy ending for Esau. That's what this entire book, this entire letter is about. That this letter that Obadiah is a warning to Esau, is a warning to Edom. It's a warning to Idumea. You saw your brother in distress, Edom, Esau, Jacob, and you did nothing. Not only did you do nothing to stop it, when it happened, you boast about it. You talk trash. You were haughty, high-minded. You turned your nose up at the situation. Not only did you talk trash, talking to Edom, not only did you do that, you took advantage, took some of the spoils. When they were at their lowest, you put your foot on their neck. That's why this letter is what it is. That's why it's a big warning to Edom. Huge warning to Edom. He's one of, it's like the Most High just, I didn't forget. I didn't forget about you. Because this is written. Oh, I didn't forget. I know what you did. It's recorded. You're going to be dealt with. If you think about it, brothers and sisters, ultimately the Most High, he deals with everyone he deals with. But look, don't get me wrong, he starts with Israel. They're the one who received the covenant and the promises, right? He starts with Israel. And has he not been dealing with Israel throughout the Bible and still till this day, right? It's only fair he deals with everybody else. Does the Bible not talk about he's going to deal with the heathen, the other nations, right? It talks about that. We already know the affliction and calamity that has befallen Israel. We know what's going on even today with Israel. Okay? We know that scattering is part of the curse, right? We know Israel is scattered everywhere, right? We understand that. So we know Israel's been dealt with before, is being dealt with presently, and we know the victory and the promise and everything that's coming in the end, the future. We know the future of Israel. We understand that. So my point is, we've all been dealt with. Israel, right? It's only fair that everyone else gets dealt with. Okay? Everyone did something. Talking about as a nation, as a whole. Everyone's done something. Every nation's done something. They got to get dealt with. Right now, we're talking about Obadiah, talking about Edom. That kingdom is going to get dealt with. And descendants are going to get dealt with. Period. That's just how that happens. Some people may complain, and a lot of times I see some of our brothers on the streets, in some of the videos, and they'll be talking, and pardon their delivery. Their delivery not always the nicest delivery, which is fine. But a lot of people's rebuttal is always, well, that was our ancestors. We had nothing to do with it, so on and so forth. You guys get the idea. But you know what I find interesting? That's the same thing that Israel could say, is it not? Couldn't Israel say, well, I wasn't there at Mount Sinai, whatever. I didn't sign up for the deal. I didn't break the covenant or whatever. I mean, you see what I'm saying? So we could have like the same defense, but it is still affecting us. The curses and the consequences of those decisions, right, still affects us. Okay? And so just like we are still byproducts of what our ancestors have done, whether it be good or bad, we're byproducts of what our ancestors done. The other nations are byproducts, good or bad, of what their ancestors have done. Okay? So the Bible says you are of your father, that type of thing. And even the Most High, even the Messiah said, you basically, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said you would have done exactly what your forefathers done when they killed the prophets, and you would have done the same thing. Right? And you have done the same thing. So the same thing, Israel, we broke promise. How many times you made promises to God and you broke it? How many times you make promises to the Most High and you broke it? Okay? So we all had it coming. Well, we all got it coming. So I'm sorry. If Israel have to take their 50 lashes, and everyone else does too. In fact, Israel had to get it worse, and the Bible even talks about that. Because he talked directly to Israel. Everyone else had to get it through a prophet. Okay? Cornelius had to send for Peter. You see what I'm saying? So the other nations, okay, I mean, they had to get it through Paul. But the Most High said, I dealt with you directly. Talking about Israel, I dealt with you directly. What other nation have a God so near? Paraphrasing. Right? So the point is, everyone gonna have their day in judgment. What Obadiah is talking about is the day Edom is going to have to deal with some things. Sorry, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. 14. Neither shouldst thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldst thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of their distress. So not only that, you cut them off. It's kind of like if Edom standing there. Okay, Edom is standing there. Jacob's trying to go by, and Edom stick his leg out, trip him up. You see what I'm saying? You get the picture. Someone's just tripping somebody up. Not only did you not help, you stood by and watched. Not only did you talk trash on their calamity. Not only did you do that, you took of the spoils of the things that they lost. You took some for yourself. Stole from your own brother. Stole from your own cousins. Edom, Esau, Jacob. Edom, Israel. Stole from them. Took of the spoils. Mocked, jeered, derided, chided, took advantage of, spit on them, stepped on their neck, tripped them when they were going by. You did all these. And so you think nothing's coming? You think nothing's coming from it? 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. I told you they got it coming. And thou hast done, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Ooh. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. What you have done will be done unto you. What you have done will be done unto you. Thus says the Lord. Am I making that up? Is my word? Did we just read that? You guys help me out. Y'all help me out. We just read that. Is this my decision or is this the Most High decision? Is this what's written? See, I know some people get all sensitive and all. It is what it is. Okay, this was already written before I came along. I'm just reading it. It is what it is. Everyone gets dealt with. That's it. Everybody's got. What is social media? Anybody can get it. That's how the Most High operates. In the end, when he's talking about let everybody come on down to the valley of decision, okay, the great battle Armageddon, and everybody come down, put down turn those pruning hooks and all that farming equipment and all, turn it into weapons and y'all come on down, take your best shot, right? He's basically anybody can get it. That's basically what he's saying. Right here, this is specifically for Edom. This is specifically for Esau. I know some people get sensitive and get upset and all. What exactly are you getting upset for? Are you upset? Or were you upset when you look at the rest of the book, talking about dealing with Israel? Good, bad, and ugly. Well, they just, they messed up. They went away from Yah and all. Okay, yeah, I know. And they getting dealt with, right? They got dealt with, right? Okay, so why are we sensitive because Esau getting dealt with? It is what it is. It is what it is. Everyone gets dealt with eventually. Okay? Just get in line. Take a number, get in line, but you're going to get dealt with. Okay? Most I said, I didn't forget. Okay? 15, what does it say? For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, all the other nations, right? As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. What you have done will be done unto you. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. 16. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. Let that marinate. It's gonna be like they never existed. Let's keep going. 17. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. They're gonna get it all back. Amen. Excuse me. I said Jacob. Israel is going to get it all back. They're going to possess their possessions. Get it all back. Okay? Hey, fair is fair. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord had spoken it. What else do you want me to say? That's what it is. Okay? So they say, oh, well, you mean all of Esau is going to be gone? I mean, I'm sure there'll be a remnant here and there, but they're going to be grafted in, because if you're not grafted, you're gone. That'll be your option. Grafted or gone. That's it. It'll be a few Edomites here or there who got with the program, got with the covenant, grafted in, and they'll make it. They won't be a nation. As a nation, they'll be gone. Not my words. In case you think it is me, let's read it one more time. So you can say, oh, Brother Robert, he's saying, no. Brother Robert's reading. Okay, no. Brother Robert's reading. Okay, I'm reading. I'm going to read this one more time. Then you can tell me. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame. Now, what is going to be the result of that? And the house of Esau for stubble. What comes when something's burned up in the flame is turned into what? Okay. It said that Esau's the stubble. Okay. It says Israel is the fire and Joseph is the flame. The flame. You see? It said Esau is the stubble. Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them. But Jacob and Joseph will devour Esau. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau. Didn't say that of Jacob and Joseph. It said there won't none will be remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it. Interesting. And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plains the Philistines. And they shall possess the fields of Ephraim and the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead. Tell them exactly what's going to happen. Okay. And the captivity of this host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarephath. And the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sepharad, shall possess the cities of the south. And the saviors shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. There's going to be a takeover. That's it. There's going to be a takeover. Israel's going to get their stuff back. Everything's going to be set in order. He's giving territorial type things. And it's funny that when we look at part of the promises of the Most High, people kind of gloss over or don't really understand that, these see, we talk about heaven and we talk about immortality and all that. Okay, that's part, not the heaven part, not living in heaven, but I understand that immortality and all that, right? We get it, golden city and all that, but we have to understand that the promises had to do with territory, had to do with real estate. Israel will be in certain parts of the world. The capital city of Jerusalem, okay, being rebuilt by the other nations, just like Israel had helped build most of the nations on the planet. At least everywhere where they dwelled, they had actually helped build most of it. Guess what? When the new heaven and a new earth is established, then the other nations are going to build up Israel's nation, those who are grafted in. It says what? They're going to give their kings will give their sons and their daughters for manservants and maidservants, and build up Jerusalem, build up the land, build up the outer courts. Because we know that golden city, that Jerusalem is going to come down out of heaven, as we look at it in Revelation, going to come down out of heaven and rest and all that. But everything else is going to be built. Israel's ancestors helped build nations. Okay? How did Egypt and the pyramids get built? Hebrew slaves? How did, besides the buildings that were taken over, but how did the other buildings, when Israel was taken over and other kings, other rulers and stuff, they start, when they come into power, what happened? They get Israel to build up their fortresses, build up their homes. What happened to some of these other places? Who built up some of these nations and countries of Africa? Who built up the nations over in what we call the Middle East or whatever? Well, Israel used to dwell there, so obviously they did. Who built up the nation of, I don't know, the Americas, particularly North America? Who built that up? So my point is, there are going to be other nations building up Israel's nation and Jerusalem. not the temple, but the other nation is going to build up Jerusalem. They will give their forces, and they will give their resources, and they will give their children and all, in building up this nation of Israel. Excuse me, guys, for all the coughing today. I'm sorry. We were on the radio, I would have a cough button. So I'm sorry about that. But this lesson is, it's two lessons, a book summary, Obadiah and Haggai. I wanted to do both of those. But again, like I said, these books are very, very short. We're able to just read them, get an understanding, and we get in, we get out. Okay. So I appreciate you guys joining me for this particular lesson. Before I sign off, please put comments down below, guys. Any questions that you guys may have, just put your comments down below. Comments, questions, concerns, you have free reign down below. I do try to, answer back, respond, something like that. I'm here for it, and I appreciate you guys joining me. Comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Smash that notification bell because I don't want you to miss any of the lessons. So until next time, search the scriptures, improve all things. Shalom, Israel.